have, first of all, I'll just do a quick intro and we'll just do a welcome to everyone. So first of all, guys, a big welcome to today's session. Really, really looking forward. Whilst it's not your traditional real estate training session, I think it's really important to obviously be familiar with what you can do in business and the opportunities that are available. And this is a really good perk of obviously being in business. And first of all, I want to say a big thank you to Dominic Tallon, who's been with the agency.
This meeting is being recorded.
He was actually one of our very, if not the first, multi-brand network agency to join us, a Tallon estate agent on the Mornington Peninsula. So if you don't know Dominic, he's been with us for 10 years. It's a 10-year anniversary in August, I believe.
Yep, August was the date.
Yeah, August was the date. So we've got a 10-year anniversary, and we're super excited, obviously, for the opportunity to have worked with Dominic, but also super excited that he's now a shareholder of Agent Agency and Black Salt and that sort of stuff. So, and I have seen this presentation and one presentation live in Crete at one time, and we thought we'd put it on, obviously, in anticipation of our Crete conference, and of course any other flying opportunity that you have. But to give an overview of how this came about, we have our Live It Up Wellness Conference in Crete in 2026. It's going to give everyone a great opportunity to obviously plan for it and obviously budget for it, as we should. It's planned for the 8th through to the 12th of June. And it's a one-day conference for the 9th of June. And we're super excited. We've held the Live It Up conference 5 times now, 3 times in our second home here in Crete. And it came about because we felt there was a need to actually get people realigned with their why, and of course getting that work-life balance, because we know in real estate that work-life balance is just so important. Another opportunity was obviously to spend time with family and friends, because it's so important to be, it's a go industry, real estate, and being able to share special time with family and friends, get to know the people that and colleagues, partners, to get to know the colleagues that their partners are working with, and seeing and just having that special time. So it's been invaluable. Obviously last year in Bali was fantastic. We did do it over 2 days, but we changed the program. So for everyone to understand, Live It Up Conference, Wellness Conference, it's over 5 days. It's the one-day conference, which is the 9th of June, right, of next year, 2026. The 8th, the 10th, 11th and 12th is 3 days, but also planned excursion days. You don't have to come to every single thing that we do, but as your host, we'll have a whole bunch of activities and group activities that people can elect to go to. On the 8th of June, there's a meet and greet, drinks and nibbles at our place. We'll put on a small barbie for everyone that comes on the day before, so really excited. By Ghani Chef. So we're going to have a Manoa Palace's chef actually do the cooking for us on that evening, and then we start the conference the next day. So if anyone is planning on coming in, have a look at the obviously the promotion that we're doing and the obviously the details that we're forwarding, so you can coordinate your dates, obviously with schools and stuff like that. And the opportunity here in Crete too, guys, is that Crete is one of those destinations, got 2 international airports. One's in Iraklum, one is in Kanya. One on the west of the island, one on the east of the island. We're on the west of the island, so if you plan on coming, make sure if the flights are available, fly into the west, because it's much closer, obviously, to the venue. The venue we're going to is Manoa Palace, a 5-star resort in Platania. Again, as I said, we'll have details for everyone to have a look at. And of course, reach out to us directly if you want more details, so we can help you plan this holiday well in advance and of course taking advantage if you're able to on the points. So any questions so far?
Julie. Hi, Julie. Good to see you.
Flying to
Hanya.
Yes.
Flying to Hanya, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
The
It's a long
airport
drive if you don't.
That's Kaluyanis Airport, Hanya, but just put Hanya in Chania.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Claudia, put there is Hanya. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. But we'll put all of those details for the Live It Up conference over the next month or so. We're going to have quite a bit of information going out. We're working on all of that. Now we've finalised everything with Monopolis, which is great. We've been hosted there every single time, so this will be our 4th time. So it's really beautiful dealing with the same crew of event managers and Yanni Timburakis, which is the head chef there. He makes it so special.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So we do have a great time. You're not going to learn how to list and sell property. You're just going to learn how to have a great time. Have some cooking schools, lots of Greek dancing, lots of Greek rapa for those people who might enjoy a drink or two. Great Greek wine. The wine here has gone to the next level, which is amazing. And we've got some really good friends who own wineries. So if you're on here, Mr. Mark McGill, our winery connoisseur, you'll be impressed with obviously some of our wineries that we go to. But really good. So any questions so far before I hand it over to...
Let's see how we can get there for free on business class.
Yeah.
Or maybe first class. Hey, Dominic?
Yeah, well, if you put in the effort, we'll get one of the two.
Yeah, absolutely. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Dominic. Dominic, as I mentioned earlier, has been with the Agents Agency for 10 years now, but he is a frequent flyer, expert, enthusiast, and he knows how to maximise the value from every point and obviously take advantage of all the tips, tricks and strategies to get you there. And just one question from Kathy. Hi guys, how long is the flight from Sydney, please? When I researched, said over 25 hours. Yeah, air time from Melbourne, it's about 17 hours with a stopover. One stopover is normally 3 to 4 hours. So it does take about 20 hours to get there. So that's why you want to be traveling business class. But it's still worth it in economy class.
Worth
it either way.
In economy, eh?
I said it's worth it either way. I've done what, three, all three.
Yes.
Absolutely the best conference you could ever attend. No doubt about that.
In the best place.
In the best place.
Cool. Over to you, Dom.
Well, thank you for everyone taking your time this evening to join us. So I'm pretty much going to run through the entire process of frequent flyer programs, easiest ways to earn points, but also how to spend them. Because these days, earning points is actually the hard thing. Earning points is actually easy. It's actually getting the tickets and finding the seats. That's the hardest part of booking award seats. There's a lot of people with a lot of points, especially through the COVID times when we couldn't go anywhere and people kept accumulating them. Everybody wants to book the tickets, but finding them that's the tricky part. So we'll go through the whole process today so you can, have an understanding on how it all works. So without further ado, let's go here. So, bit of a disclaimer. I'm going to be giving a lot of financial advice that is not financial advice. So that is just my opinions. I will stress that. Anything I say is my opinions. Any health advice I give is not health advice. I'm just going to talk about what I do, and you can sort of pull from that what you want. One key thing to remember is that premium cabins is your best spend of points. And we will go through, because points actually have a value. They actually have a dollar value to them. And we'll go through that a bit later on, talking about what the dollar value of points are. The main thing is, and I always say this, you're better off saving your points than spending them on economy seats. Of course, if you don't have any cash and you want to book a ticket and you've only got points, but the economy value versus what the points value is for business, it's a very big gap. So it's definitely worthwhile holding on to those points for that purpose. A lot of the things I'm going to run through is on the Qantas frequent flyer program, because that's the one I'm part of. So it's the one I know inside out. But Australia has two main point systems. You've got Qantas frequent flyer points and you've got Velocity frequent flyer. Velocity is part of the Virgin group, whereas Qantas is obviously the Qantas group. So a bit of what we'll go through today. we'll go through award programs, partner airlines, and that's a big one as well, because just because you're booking tickets with the Qantas frequent flyer point doesn't mean you have to fly Qantas. In fact, it's often easier to not fly Qantas and not fly Virgin because there's more seats available often on other carriers. So we'll go through that as well. Value of points, earning points, tips to find seats, and I'll go through a quick sort of live demo on the easiest way to find seats, because that's, I think, something that a lot of people get stuck on. When they search for point seats, they use the default search. What I'll show you is a much easier and better way to find them. And then we'll do a Q&A as well if anyone's got questions. So, jumping into it, Qantas Frequent Flyer program. Again, you're probably going to be a member of one or the other, being Velocity or Qantas. I always say pick one, because when you're earning points, you want to allocate them to one program, because there's no point in having 50,000 points with one, 50,000 with the other, when a seat's going to cost you 100,000. You're best to have them all compiled into one. So pick one or the other. But this is just a bit of a rundown on who you can fly with using Qantas points. Some of the main ones, if we're going to talk about here to Europe, would be Qatar, Cathay, Japan Airlines, you can get there, Malaysia. Qantas does fly to Europe. What else is there? No, that's probably the main ones. And then some of these others are just, again, obviously American Airlines if you want to go to America, or British Airways too. Fiji Airways if you want to go to America. They're actually really good to go to America. They go here to Nandi and Nandi to LA, but their seats are actually way better than American Airlines seats, in case anyone wants to go to America. And then jumping into...
Sorry, Dom, is Etihad with One World? No.
No, Etihad.
Sorry, Emirates.
Emirates is not a One World partner, but they have a separate Qantas alliance.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so they've got a separate deal where Emirates, customers can use Qantas planes, Qantas can use Emirates planes. And that's actually the best one. They're one of the easiest ones to actually find tickets, because Emirates is pretty generous when it comes to releasing seats. Because there's another thing to consider. Not every seat is, airlines can choose how many seats they release. Sometimes they may only release 2, 3, 4 point seats for business class per flight. Sometimes they won't release any, so it all depends on their loadings and how popular that route is. So it always pays to look at, someone like Emirates who have a lot more planes and a lot more daily flights. They're actually really good. This is the Velocity Frequent Flyer program. So these are the airline partners that you can be, you can fly on. Qatar, obviously to Europe, Singapore Airlines to Europe, and a couple other ones. ANA, again, you can go via Japan. Qatar is actually, they just released the Skytrax airline ratings. Qatar's second year, or probably fifth year in a row, chances are, #1 airline in the world. Best level of service, best seats, just the whole package. And then Singapore, I think, is up there as well, #2, and Emirates 3 or something like that. All right, so jumping into the value of points. When you earn a frequent flyer point, it actually has a value. It's something you often earn for free just by doing daily spending, but points have value, and this is what I mean by economy is not the best spend of points, because on average to a frequent flyer point, it's going to cost you 2 cents. So if you think about credit card surcharges, 2% surcharge, mostly credit cards really. If it's a 2% surcharge, you're going to earn 2 cents per dollar that you spend on your credit card. But when you're claiming an economy seat using points, you're spending the equivalent of 2 cents per point that's used. Whereas if you go to, say, business class flights, it's anywhere from 5 to 10 cents per point in value. So does that make sense to everyone? It's, in long story short, when you're spending your points, you've got to factor in what's costing you to earn them as well. And this is why I always say to people, never spend your points on things like hotels or claiming it for a new air fryer or a new toaster, because the actual value of what you're claiming, it's under a cent per point. So they send you all these offers, look, only 50,000 points you can have a new Philips air fryer. Well, it's actually costing you money, so to speak, by doing that, because you could have saved it.
It all depends on all the charges that you get charged if you're using Amex, if you're using your credit cards and
Yeah.
so forth. But this was a real eye-opener for me, Dominic. When you told me this, I'm thinking it just makes sense. So if you're, obviously you need to get to somewhere really, really quickly, sometimes better off going the economy and paying the economy in cash and then still building up for a future flight in business
Yeah,
class.
spot on.
Because you
I
do
always
get more bang for your buck. And, just looking at these numbers, you're getting 4 to 5 times the value by spending it in business class and then you do an economy. It just makes sense.
And the reason why it's worth saving is because, for example, with Qantas points, they don't expire. So some programs, points will expire after X amount of years if you don't use them. Qantas don't expire. As long as you spend or earn 1 point every 18 months, your points will just remain valid for as long as, for as long as you've got them. So, there are programs where if you don't spend them, you're going to lose them. I think Emirates is one of them. After a couple of years, if from when you earn that point, if you haven't spent it, it disappears. Whereas Qantas doesn't do that. So that's why I save them. If I'm doing a flight up to Arak, I'm not going to spend it on the flight. I'm just going to save my points, pay the cash. It's a business expense anyway. And
also, correct me if I'm wrong, Dom. So obviously, because we get to travel a little bit with work and obviously coming to Europe, you would need to give your velocity number or your Qantas number or your membership number every time you fly, even with a paid flight, because then you start adding even more. You pay with the credit card and then you use the flight, so you're kind of doubling up your points as well.
It all compounds, yeah.
All compounds. It really does add to obviously your points.
Yeah, and I've got some good tips on that as well coming up actually. So, earning points. These are probably the easiest or the most common ways you can earn points, but some of these things people don't even know about. So obviously we'll start with credit cards. That's the simplest, easiest way to earn frequent flyer points. If you don't have a credit card and you're scared of credit cards, at the end of the day, you don't have to use them and worry. And you can use a credit card and pay off your points every month, and you don't incur interest. But what you are doing is you're earning points in the process. Credit card companies always give, not always, but pretty much every time you look at them, they'll give you bonus points to sign up. So for example, I think I was looking at ANZ's recently where they'll give you, I think it's like 100,000 points to sign up. And then if you stick with them for 12 months, or you spend X amount of dollars over 3 months, they'll give you like another 30,000 points on top of that. So off the bat, you can earn 120, 150,000 points from just signing up to a credit card. That's enough to get you to European business class. One thing to keep in mind though is don't churn credit cards. So again, not financial advice, but as my wife, one of the best mortgage brokers in the country has said, it doesn't look good on your credit file. So yeah, don't go ahead and, because there are people that do this, they basically just chase points. They'll sign up to a credit card, they'll get the points, after a couple of months they shut it down, go to the next bank and they rinse and repeat. And sure, you can earn a heap of points in a really quick time frame, but then when you want to go get a mortgage, it doesn't look too good. So don't do that. So pick one and stick with it. But one big thing with credit cards is I pick branded cards. So for example, my business card is a Qantas business, not Amex. Actually, I've got an Amex one, but it's a Qantas business Visa card. So it's actually ANZ's branded Qantas on the card. Same thing with my personal card. It's a Qantas ANZ black credit card. So it's Qantas branded. And the reason why I do that is because you actually earn more points when you've got the branded cards versus getting a rewards card where you then convert your points to Qantas points or convert your points to Velocity points. You actually get more points when you're actually having the branded card. So I only earn Qantas points on my cards. I don't get, rewards points that I can then convert to, say, a Marriott Bonvoy hotel chain point system or one of the other airline point systems. It's just going to be for Qantas, but that's what I collect. So that's why I focus on that. And again, I'll give you another tip from my amazing wife. With credit cards, one really good way, and this is another really good tip though when it comes to spending, is put all your expenses on your card, leave your cash in your offset account on your mortgage. At the end of the month, take it out, pay off your card. Not only have you now saved interest on your mortgage, you've also earned frequent flyer points in the process. So you're doubling up, and you're not losing anything because you're not accumulating that credit card interest at 20% or whatever it is. So that's another really good tip to think about. But moving on, this one not a lot of people know. I don't think anyone knows about this really. AMP have a Qantas savings account. So every $10 you've got in your savings account, every month they'll give you one frequent flyer point. So if you've got, okay, without doing all the numbers, but I think it's up to like 5 million. So if you had $5 million sitting in this savings account, every single month you're going to earn 500,000 frequent flyer points. So basically every single month you'll earn enough points to do a return trip to Europe in first class. And it's, I think the minimum's only like $1,000 you've got to have in your account, or not even that, I think. So that's a really good one. I don't have it because I tend to spend more money than I save, but if you do have, a savings account, that's a good option. But then obviously,
AMP.
Who's AMP? What's
AMP. It's a bank. Yes. I don't think they got branches. I think AMP is is like an online bank.
Yeah.
After Manos and who starts with P?
And P for something.
Good on you, Claudia.
After Menos and Petros. Who's Petros?
So yeah, that's obviously another good way. I mean, if you've got a bit of spare cash, to stick aside in a separate bank account, why not leave it there? Because you earn points on it and they credit you every month. Woolworths Rewards.
We can deposit our realestate.com money in there and then transfer it in between accounts and stuff like that.
No, imagine if AMP had a trust account.
Or the trust account, mate. You're right, mate. Anyway, we won't go there. It's been reported too.
Woolworths Rewards. So obviously with Woolworths Rewards, every 2,000 Woolworths points you earn when you spend, obviously doing your shopping, they'll give you a $10 credit. What a lot of people don't know is you can also have an option where every 2,000 Woolworths Reward points you earn, they'll give you 1,000 frequent flyer points. Now, we do our shopping at Woolworths, so we're constantly earning points through Woolworths Rewards because we're spending the money anyway doing it. And if you do your shopping and pay with a credit card, you're going to earn points spending the money, plus you're going to earn the points that Woolworths give you anyway. So that's a really good one. And Woolworths, you can just download the app, chuck it on your phone as like the Apple Wallet, and just scan that to checkout. So if you don't have that, it's absolutely, that's a really easy way to earn points. Next one, which is, we were working this out with Manos the other day actually. This one's a really good one because you can earn points just by being alive basically. Qantas Health. So Qantas have an app called Qantas Health and they set challenges. So for example, I said that if I do 4,000 steps a day, they're going to give me, I think it's 12 frequent flyer points. All I've got to do is just stay alive and walk around and I'm earning frequent flyer points. And if I do 30,000 steps in a week, they give me another 60. There's no catch, there's no cost, there's nothing, it's just free, you just have an app. So what I do is I go to the gym, I've got my Apple Watch, I click walk, it tracks me when I'm walking on the treadmill, and by the end of it, I earn 12 frequent flyer points while I'm at the gym in the morning. So it's, I don't know why they've got this. Oh, I guess I know why they've got this. They're trying to make their customers healthy or keep customers healthy because it's obviously going to be a lot less when it comes to the Qantas health insurance claims. But you don't need to be a Qantas health insurance member to use this app. You just got to be a frequent flyer member. So that's another one to look into. Qantas Wine, Qantas Shopping, and Qantas Health Insurance. What I'll do is I'll jump to these two and then we'll do a quick live show on these two because these ones are really, really good and no one really knows about it. Qantas Health Insurance. So I've got Qantas Health Insurance. I earn about 900 points a month just by having their health insurance. And it's actually a really good policy. Again, this is not health advice. Check around. But our health insurance policy is fantastic. It's underwritten by NIB. The money we get back when we do our claim is just huge. So we've never left them. I mean, I initially joined them because they were offering a 200,000 point sign-up bonus. I was like, well, that sounds good. I'll stick with them for a year and then we'll switch. I never left because they're actually really good as a health insurer. And the obvious one is flying. When you fly, make sure you enter your frequent flyer number when you're making your booking because you earn points flying. But I'll quickly jump.
From audio, sorry, Don. Quick from audio, do you buy Qantas travel insurance?
I don't because my credit cards come with free travel insurance as long as I book something for that holiday before I leave.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
And I went through the policies. They're pretty good as well. So, I always make sure I book something on, and it could be anything. You can book a bus ticket, you can book a tour, you can book your flights, obviously, or accommodation, anything that you book for your holiday before you leave, the credit policy will kick in and it covers all of us. So, but there is actually a Qantas travel insurance as well. So if you're not booking it on your credit card, that's another option. But what I'm going to jump into is some crazy ways to earn points that most people don't know about. So this is the one I posted in the group. I earned like 33 something thousand points by buying wine. This is how. So I don't even know if many people know about this. Qantas have a wine store online, and they've got a lot of wine, and it's actually pretty good wine too. So the thing is that they give often massive points bonuses. So for example, you can go to their website, Qantas or wine.qantas.com, click bonus points. I'll let it load. This is the one I bought. So I spent $690 buying 12 bottles of wine, which are going to be vendor gifts. Well, they can't be vendor gifts. I mean, that if it's a vendor gift,
makes logical sense.
It becomes a tax deduction as well, because you're not for yourself; it's for vendors. But on top of that, they're giving a 30,000 point bonus for buying them, and they're not crappy wines. But they run this quite often. They'll run promotions where they'll give you a bunch of bonus points for buying a particular case. So in this case, $808 of wine, you're getting it for $690. They're giving you 30,000 points. But on top of that, Qantas gives you 1 point for every dollar you spend on this site. So you're adding another 690 points. And if you book it on your credit card, you're going to earn another 690 points. And if you're someone like me, I've got a Qantas wine membership. Like there's different ways, I won't go into it, there's different ways you can earn memberships. They pay you 3 points per dollar spent. So I got 3 points for every dollar I spent out of the 690. I then got 690 points on my credit card, and then I got the 30,000 bonus points. And I've got 12 decent bottles of wine on the way. So that's it's a huge way to earn points where you can actually make this a business deductible expense as well. Because I mean, I'm sure a lot of us buy wine as gifts. Do it like this. Now
that's really good. What a great tip. And if you think about it, that's a big percentage of the ticket in just one purchase.
Well, yeah, when you jump into it, you'll see like 34,000 points is pretty much getting you halfway to Greece business class. But that's just one thing that you can do tonight and get it. I know it's $690 worth of wine. It's a lot of money on wine, but if you're actually buying it for vendor gifts, well, it's a business expense and you're going to use them too.
Yeah.
Getting very excited listening to this.
If you like wine, Colleen.
He's just next to me.
Now,
but Maria, you're going to say, sorry.
I was going to say you have to set it up properly from the beginning. Like for us now, we've got like Citibank Visa, we've got Virgin, flying with Virgin, we've got a Virgin, points membership. So it's all over the place, like you said before. So before you do anything, you just got to.
But you know what?
Or you're going to be with
the change though. If you guys decide no, let's focus on Qantas. It's not too late, because not only that, you're now going to earn all your bonus points if you get yourself some Qantas cards. Then you can start doing all of these sort of things. Jumping into Qantas shopping. So this, I don't know if many people know about this. If you go to shopping.qantas.com, we'll go to the top. There's a lot of stores. So, you've got all stores, A to Z. These are all the different stores you can access through Qantas shopping. What happens is if you go to this store through Qantas shopping, it tells you how many points you'll get for spending money at that store. It doesn't cost you any extra to do this, but I saw one earlier. It was like, it's something like this. Like, I have no idea what High Sierra is, but whatever they're selling, 10 points per dollar if you click through this link. I'll give you another one where what was I looking at before? It was a really good one for...
Go to Apple. Apple had a good one as well. I bought my watch from there. And I got a shitload of points there.
Well, for any gentleman in the group, MJ Bale. So I buy a lot of my business shirts at MJ Bale. If I click this link and then I click shop now, it'll take me to MJ Bale's website through Qantas. and I'll do my shopping. I won't bother going into it, but this will take me to the, to the end of our site. Qantas says now we'll track your purchases. So anything I buy now online, Qantas will track, and I'll earn 6 points per dollar I spend on that website. And there are insane amount of websites you can do this. Like,
What you're saying is once you do it once, as long as it's an online purchase, you don't have to always. They just know that you're as long as you click,
as long as you click through here. So
yeah,
you've got to go through the Qantas shopping app.
Yeah. Okay. For example, if you want to go to Kogan and buy something, they'll give you 1 point per dollar. So don't forget, 1 point per dollar you spend plus the points you're going to earn on your credit card by using your credit card to pay for that purchase. So this is actually 2 points per dollar. This is actually 5 points per dollar. And like as I said, there's just I don't
from that war. Sorry, Dom.
Yeah.
From that war, if you download an extension for Chrome, it will give you a pop-up and let you know if you can earn Qantas points.
Yes.
At that online store. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's this here. So if you can work this out and you can download the extension, because I'm logged in, if I ever go to a website online shopping and they have they're one of these members, it'll give me a prompt to tell me. So I know that anything I spend on that site, I'm going to earn X amount of points for. So it's a really good way to earn extra points doing things that you're probably doing already. So that's a bit of a quick rundown on I guess, the easiest ways to earn points. Obviously, credit cards, again, being the easiest way to do it because it's almost a guarantee. Everything you spend, no matter where you spend it, you're going to earn points. But if you keep in the back of your mind, there's all these extra ways you can do it. For example, the Woolworths Rewards or Qantas Wine or Qantas Shopping. It adds up really quickly. Okay, so this is where we start going into finding seats and I guess strategies in actually being able to get something. Because this is the hardest thing. It's actually finding a seat. Trying to book a seat is really tough. The reason being, out of Australia, you've got everyone fighting to get seats. When you leave Australia, you're going to end up somewhere in between. There's no, obviously you can't, well, they've got Project Sunrise coming where I guess you're going to be directly from Melbourne and Sydney to Europe. But until then, you're going to have to go from Melbourne to Singapore or Melbourne to Dubai, Melbourne to Hong Kong, Melbourne to Abu Dhabi. Then you take an onwards flight to Europe. The trickiest thing is actually getting out of Australia. That's where there's not as many seats. Getting from your second point of call, so getting from Hong Kong or Dubai or Singapore to Europe, that's actually really easy. And you can pretty much always find business class seats doing that. It's just that first step. So tips on securing a seat, firstly, being flexible on your dates. And it's all about setting your expectations because if you think you can just use your points to book a seat, you're going to find out very quickly it's not going to happen. If you go, okay, I'm going on this holiday on this date to this date, and you rely on that, you're going to struggle. And I know it's hard, obviously, if you've got kids and with school holidays and everything. But hey, one day when you're not going to have to deal with that, this will still all apply. The one thing I'm big on is being flexible on dates. So when we go to Europe, so when we're coming to the conference next year, we know the dates of the conference. We're going to roughly plan around that. So we could end up in Europe a couple of days before the conference, or the conference could be at the end of our trip. I'm not sure yet because it's going to depend on what seats we can find and where they're going to get us to and the dates. Other tips include looking at other cities to fly out on. So for example, Melbourne is actually pretty tricky to get seats to Europe. Sydney is a lot easier. I'll give a good example. I'm flying to Singapore next month. We couldn't book out of Melbourne because this plane and the seats we wanted is on an A380. Qantas only flies their A380 from Sydney to Singapore, not Melbourne to Singapore. So we're just going to fly to Sydney, stay there overnight. Next day, we'll hop on the plane and go to Singapore. Yeah, it's going to cost us a couple $100 to get to Sydney, but we're flying Qantas first class, which is like a $15-something thousand seat. So, it's to us, it was worth it. It's worth the extra, the extra little bit of effort. Another thing is that you've got to look often. So Qantas used to actually release their point seats at a very specific time. It was 354 days before the flight at 10 a.m. Brisbane time. So I used to sit there at 9:59, refreshing the page, wait for the seats to get released, bang, there they are, book them. They don't do that anymore. I don't know if they've caught on to everyone, but they do release seats almost a year in advance, but they also release seats at any time. So they've really changed the way, and that's made it really hard because you don't know when you're going to find something now. So you've got to be, you've got to look often and you've got to be flexible on it. One thing, I guess, on strategy I would use if you're someone wanting to do this, book a seat to where you want to go. You've locked in your seat and your dates, whether you're flying economy, business, or first, whatever you want to spend your money on, but book a refundable ticket. So you've got your seats, you're guaranteed to get to where you need to be on your trip or in your holiday, and then keep looking. Because quite often you'll find that a month before the flight or within a few weeks before the flight, seats will start to pop up. And you might not want to take the risk, but you know what, at the end of the day, it's, if you want to, think of it like this, it's a bonus. You're going to spend the money to get there anyway. It's a trip you're going to book anyway. But if your seats pop up, book them, cancel your other ones, get your money back, and now you've your point seats. So that's something that's, points changed. I mean, I look back, say, 6-7 years pre-COVID, we could always book what you wanted when you wanted. It was actually really easy, but something's changed, obviously, in the way they release seats and the way they release point seats. And now it is a lot harder. Qantas introduced a thing called Classic Awards and Classic Award Plus. Classic Award Plus was their way of saying, look at us, we've released more seats, but it's not a scam, but what they charge you for those seats, for example, what would cost, say, 150,000 points to go all the way to Europe, for example, if you were to use that's what's called a Classic Award. But the Classic Award Plus, they would charge you 500,000 points for that same seat. So yes, they've released more seats, but it's a different pricing structure. So what I'm going to show you live next is how to find the ones that are actually the affordable ones. And another big tip, and this is something that, again, it's worthwhile considering, it's a repositioning flight internationally. So as I said before, it's really easy to get a seat from Singapore or Dubai onwards to Europe. It's really hard to get there. If you're someone's prepared to fly to Jakarta, it's actually really easy out of Jakarta as well. Or Auckland, it's really easy, well, not really, but a lot easier out of Auckland. So get yourself to a different country. Maybe you fly economy there, but then your onwards flight can be in a premium cabin. I was looking at this before, and we'll look again, but getting to Singapore again, if you pick a day flight, it's like, from Melbourne's about an 8-hour flight. It's manageable in economy. If you pick a day flight where you're not forcing, you don't have to sleep, get there, maybe spend a day in Singapore or two, and then book your seats from Singapore to Europe, you'll be able to find one. It's a lot easier. So let's jump into that. I don't have many points left because I just booked those first class seats, but we'll get them back. All right, finding seats. So this is what most people do when you're trying to find point seats. You're going to go, I want to book a reward seat. Do you want to go one-way return? Let's go one way, one adult. We want to fly business. Am I flexible on dates? Maybe, yeah. And then type in where you want to go and you click search. That's not the best way to do it. That's where you end up showing the Classic Award Plus flights, which cost you 4 times, 5 times the amount. You get confused. It doesn't show you more than a few days either side. The trick is to do multi-city. So I'll show you how to use that. So multi-city, book with rewards. Where do you want to go? So this is the example I'm going to use, Sydney to Singapore. And this is what I mean by if you fly next month, you're probably going to find something. Let's say we go there. Make sure you tick flexible with dates because you'll see why. What the screen I'm trying to get to is a screen that shows you the entire month. And you can see what seats are available on what day in the month versus, say, just within 1 week. So one person search. And here we go. So I can see everything from on this screen from the 9th of July to the 8th of August. I can see all the dates, and I can see all the classes that have classic awards available. Often what I do is I will then untick these two just to make it clearer because there's a lot of ribbons on this screen. And off we go. So on the 24th of next month, 25th, these are all the available seats. Continue. That was a bad example because it's not. Oh, there's one there actually. So this shows you all of the seats, the economy price. I can tick that. So let's say we want to go Sydney, Singapore and economy. Scroll all the way down, 25,200 points. In this case, you can see all the different flights. This one's going from Sydney to Melbourne, Melbourne to Singapore. Or we've found the business one here as you scroll down here. So on British Airways, from Sydney to Singapore, and it'd be 75,000 points to do it. Go back. Now, one thing I should have said this earlier. It's not completely free when you book with points. You're still going to have to pay taxes. Taxes aren't always huge. Qantas might be a couple $100 for a business class flight. Emirates is really expensive. 2 people on Emirates business, I think their tax is like $1,000, but then their seats are worth a lot more too. But yeah, you always have to pay a little bit in taxes. That's something you can't avoid. It's the same thing when you book your airline seat, you pay your taxes too. We're all looking at taxes this time of year. It is what it is. But this is the easiest way to actually see what's available. I can click the next 14 days, and again, I can see what's available.
I'm assuming if you went next year to June, it's not going to bring much up because they wouldn't have flights out, or you don't know?
Your return day has to be within 12 months, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it might not. I mean, if we go all the way through till...
Say the 1st of June. Say 1st of June.
Yeah, it won't show them because Qantas don't release their seats that far ahead. They'll release them 340 or 53 days.
Well, let's try February. Let's just try February, like February of next year, just for the sake of the exercise.
Back in February.
Let's go middle of the month, February.
To everyone.
We'll see what we've got.
And add Athens in there.
Yeah, I'll do that after one. So 12th of Feb. Let's see what we got.
It's my birthday, honey. Thank you.
Yeah, again, British Airways. British Airways have a first class seat available on that day. So here we go. 107,000 points. You can go here to Singapore, British Airways first class. So it's, again, this is ages away, but again, Qantas haven't released any. But I bet you, if you look a month ahead, you'll probably find a couple of seats pop up. One thing as another strategy in booking points is not booking for 2 people if you can't find it. It's easy to find one person. It's really hard to find 2 or more. Not saying you can do it. It's going to take a lot of search, a lot of work. But if you look at it like that, you're getting a seat for half price if you can do it that way. Again, or if it's just one of you traveling, then easy as. But sometimes you've got to look at it like that as well. But what I'll show you is what I mean.
And then buy the other one's points.
Yeah, exactly. You book the same flights, but you can almost always find a single person seat.
Is coming to Europe around 150,000 points in business class like normal? I remember with Virgin, I used to spend about 120,000 for economy.
That's normal. Yeah, that's normal. But also Qantas points are worth more than Virgin points. So yeah, you actually get more for your money with Qantas than you do with Virgin. That's another thing to consider too.
Yeah, that's one thing that we worked out with Dom in our pre-session is that Qantas is a better value. Having said that, for us, because we travel to Europe all the time, we come into Athens, it's probably better that we go with Virgin because Qantas, there's not many flights from Qantas that go directly to Athens, so you're going to pay that extra money anyway in other stopovers and stuff like that. So again, it's a case-by-case basis, isn't that right, Dom?
Exactly. It's a case-by-case basis. You've got to look at what works best for you.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by a repositioning flight. So getting to Singapore, if you're happy to spend, 7, 8 hours in economy, get to Singapore, do it during the day. But then getting from Singapore to Athens, this is for next month. Look how many first-class seats are available next month. There's actually more first-class seats than business-class seats next month from Singapore to Athens. So we'll use the 17th as an example. We'll use the 16th example. We've got both classes on one. So, it's a bit of, I won't say a bit of pain, that sounds really snobby, but, spend 8 hours in economy to then spend 15 in business or first. So here we go. Singapore to Dubai, Dubai to Athens, 14 hours and 50 minutes, business class and first class available, 90,000 points. So it's, it pays to use that strategy. How's this? Wait.
Is that return?
90,000 points for first.
Was one way. Is that
That's one way? That's one way. No, sorry, Maria, that was business. First class is 129. It's not that much more.
Still, that's just so.
For an extra, however many extra points that was, it's absolutely worth it.
So obviously, if you're going to do it like that, it won't be a connected flight. So you have to go get your luggage.
Exactly. That's why it's probably worthwhile. But for some, but it always depends on the person. Some people go, no, I just want to get there. But for me, I'd go, you know what? If this is what the points are going to give me, we're going to go to Singapore for a couple of days now. Yeah. Go to Singapore, spend a couple of days there, have a bit of a break in between, then we'll jump back on first class to Europe, 14 and a half hours, 15 hours in first class.
Yeah.
Dom, I've got a question.
Yeah.
So if you're booking for, say, you and Angelique to go to Europe and back, it's a double question.
Yeah.
How would you do it if it's hard to book 2 seats? Would you separate them? If you could touch on that. And then the second question is, you've got a little one now. We've got 3 little boys, 2 of which are now over 2 years old. How would a family like us fly business class to Europe and back with 2 rascals?
We would have had to have the conversation about 5 years ago to say, hey, what are you doing?
Let's not have kids, or?
We've thought about that. I mean, Hazel's turning 2 in November. She will have done 14 flights by then because you don't have to pay until they're over 2. So, look, it's long story short, Paul, it kind of sucks. That's probably the best way to answer that question.
Do you see families in business class with 2 little kids, or?
You do, but whether they got some points or not, it's a different question.
One person flies business and enjoys it, and the other parent flies economy with the kids. Is that what we're doing?
Well, this way, one person can go first class, actually, and then the kids can sit out the back.
Swap, do one leg each?
Yeah. Look, it's not impossible. I have heard of people booking tickets where they've got 6 people in business class from Australia to America. And that's a really hard route because there's not that many flights from Australia to America because it's pretty much a direct flight. It can be done, but again, you almost got to be lucky. You've got to look regularly and you've just got to find it. If you're coming out of Australia, booking more than 2 seats is going to be really, really tough. But if you do this and you just get yourself to Singapore, get yourself to, I wouldn't say Dubai because it's a really long flight, I think, to Dubai. But if you get to, like, say, Hong Kong, if you do that, then you can book your seats onwards from there, and you'll probably get, you'll probably find yourself 2, 3, 4, potentially 4 tickets out of those other cities, but not out of Australia. It's really hard out of Australia for that reason.
What about premium economy, Dominic, with points? Can you do that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Because I think that's pretty good sometimes.
I just noticed that they don't have it really displayed here as premium economy or...
No, but I'll show you how to find it. Because, here you've got economy business. Because this is the thing, economy business, there are only 2 options here to search. But when you go multi-city, that's where you can do... Should we go Sydney? We'll go Sydney to Singapore again. The only reason why I'm not saying Sydney to Athens is because it's probably going to be a lot harder to find. So just for the purpose of demonstrating this, it'd be a lot easier just to show what you can get. So premium economy is the yellow one. So yeah, there's heaps. Just pick a random day. So this one. There it is there, Cure. Sydney to Singapore, premium economy, 51,000 points.
Cheap.
And then, get yourself... Sorry, what was
All
that?
right. So I know you might have been just doing it for the example here for us today, but I know you put, what was the last one, Singapore to Athens, just for the example. Would you normally, when you're booking for yourself, would you normally put in, say, the to flight and then the from flight as a return, or would you break them up just to increase the chances of actually finding the tickets?
It'll depend. So I'll always try and get there and back. But the Qantas system is really glitchy. It's actually a lot easier just to search one way at a time. When you find the dates and the seats for those 2 days, then start again and do there and back when you know the dates that it's going to come up on, because for years their system has just been really glitchy and it will show you seats that don't exist, or then it'll just say error. That's the easiest way to do it separately, but then bring it together when you want to do your final booking. Any questions? I guess let's probably jump into the Q&A.
Yeah, Dominic, how do you find out which seats are refundable? Does it automatically show you?
It will. If you're booking Qantas and it's a red E deal, I think they call them, they're generally non-refundable. But when you're booking it, you just hover over the terms and conditions. It'll tell you what's refundable and what's not, and what fees there are. You know, there'll be one, like some of the Qantas seats, it's like a cancellation fee of $99. But you know, again, you book your seats, you get your ticket to Europe. If you happen to find a point seat, I'll pay $99 to get out of the other one and get the money back, because it's going to be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Don, from your experience, how many points to go business class, say, to Athens? How many points would you need for a couple return?
300,000.
So that's to get there and back. 300,000 for 2 people or per person?
That would be for 2 people. Yeah, no, it should be. I'm trying to think now.
So I've got 700,000 points in my account. I can get to Greece and back a couple of times.
Yeah, if you've got 700,000 pounds in your account, you're loaded. You're good to go.
I can make some friends on the way, can't I?
You can actually, but again, you've got to find the seats. I was actually doing one before. We'll do an example of getting all the way to Europe quickly. See what I mean? Like click back, the thing crashes out for no reason. But while I'm doing this, any other questions while we're doing this?
Yeah, just a quick one from Claudia. Do you still use pay.com.au? I'm not
B2B pay?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I didn't talk about that. Their fees are really high, but there's a website called B2B Pay.
I use that for all my bills.
Oh, have they changed it? Actually, no, not pay. It's B2B Pay.
Pay.com.au now.
No, sorry, that was a different one. B2B Pay. It's a Qantas partner. You can actually pay your ATO statements, your BAS statements, your income tax statements. You can actually pay them through B2B Pay, and you'll earn points on that transaction.
And if you use your Amex card, you get points on top as well.
And you get points on your Amex card too. It's actually, I forgot about this one. They do charge really high fees, but that's where it comes back to doing the numbers. If a business class seat, looking at the points, is worth 5 to 10 cents, and you're spending 2 to 3 cents to earn those points because of the fees, as long as your intention is to use those points for the business class seats, you're ahead.
Yeah.
It actually works out. And that I do. So it works out for me. Whereas, if you're not sort of dedicated or really want to do this and you don't care that much, you're actually paying a lot of fees using this for, to earn the points.
So you can do a search all in one hit to go from...
You can, yeah, you can. So you can add as many legs as you want in this. You can do it all the way there and back. But as I said, if what happens is if there's one of these legs for the flight doesn't have anything available, it says to you it doesn't work. So it's easier to search individually and then come together once you've found all the dates. Yeah. Just to save time in this search. And I did this just before, so let's see if they're still available. Okay, so we can open up the 2 here. Now I think what I looked at was, I think it was 18th and then next day onwards. Let's have a look here. So this is going to get us to Athens. So you can go business class, Sydney, Singapore, and British Airways.
That's you just press premium.
I did that. Sorry. Thank you. British Airways, by the way, they're pretty expensive, British Airways with points, but we can then get from Singapore to Athens in first class. So 200,000 points, we're going business to Singapore, and then first class from Singapore all the way to Athens.
First class.
First class.
For 200,000
points. That's next. It's in about 3 weeks if anyone wants to go. Here they are.
Well,
And
I might just do it just for the fun of it.
Just for the fun of it. And look, and a lot of people look at this and go, oh, geez, I've got to do another stopover just to get to Europe. I've got to do 2 instead of 1. If you're going first class, you want this stopover because the first class lounge in Dubai is insane.
Oh my God.
Like, you want to get off the plane so you can go to this lounge. For me, I'd actually look at this and go, okay, how many hours I've got in the lounge? I've got 2 hours in the lounge, probably 1.5 before they board. I'd probably go with the flight because look how many hours I can spend in Dubai first class lounge.
Oh God.
I can spend 5 hours there, 6 hours there. So get a free massage, get free champagne.
You're paying for the experience as well. Quick question from Nat. Can you use a combo of personal Qantas frequent flyer and business Qantas frequent flyer? Claudio answered that you can transfer points from your business to personal.
That's what I do. So because one thing to look at with credit cards is they actually have point caps, spend limits. So eventually the cards I've got don't cap out, but they reduce your earn rate once you pass a certain figure. So what I do is my business credit card can earn points on ATO payments. So I'll use my business credit card for my ATO bills. If I use B2B Pay and my business credit card, I'm doubling up. For my RA bills, I use my personal credit card and I earn all the points until I get to my limits on my personal card. So that way I'm splitting the payments of my big monthly payments, being RA and BAS, and income, PAYG, tax and all the rest of it. I split it so I maximize the amount of points I'm earning per month. Because if I put it all on one, I'm going to earn less because eventually I'll hit my spend limits and they'll give you half a cent or half a point per dollar instead of 1 for 1 or more.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Thank you, Dominic.
That was really, really cool. Now, just for how much time would you spend on a weekly basis, monthly basis? Because obviously you're an enthusiast on this and you always want to keep updated. How much time would you spend on a monthly basis?
If I spent this much time prospecting, I wouldn't be here today, put it that way.
Good comeback. That's a good comeback.
No, I look all the time, like not all the time, a couple of times a week. We might be sitting on like this is what happened with Singapore. We were sitting on the couch watching some TV show. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I just went on my phone. I'm like, oh, let's just see what's around. And I found 2 first class tickets returned to Singapore, and I turned to Angel and said, hey, do you want to go to Singapore next month? She's like, so now we're going to Singapore. So you just got to look regularly. Obviously, when you're looking for a particular thing like the Crete conference, you're going to be looking a lot more frequently. But I think the best thing, if you want to use these strategies to get to Greece for the conference and you want to do it in business class, the best thing to do would be one of the other strategies, which is either book a refundable ticket in a class you're happy to pay for, and then look closer to the date or at any time in between. Because as I said, a month or 2 out, there are going to be a lot more seats available because as the airlines start to see their loading rates on the planes, they're going to see how many tickets they're expecting to sell for cash. And then they go, okay, we can probably release a couple more point seats because we're probably not going to sell them in cash. Because they still wanted people to spend their points because, going into the economics of it all, points actually sit on airline's balance sheet as a liability.
Yeah, of course it does.
So
yeah.
The airlines actually want you to spend them. Hence why you have things like Qantas Shopping where they're offering you extra points to spend your money. Well, to earn money, but also, what they do is entice you to spend your points on shopping too. By the way, never do that because it's not, again, that's where it's worth less than a cent per point. They do a lot of things to encourage people to spend them because they want you to spend them. That's why they introduced the Classic Award Plus booking, where they charge you 500,000 points for a seat that you could normally get for 200,000 because they want you to spend them. But, they also know that a lot of people can't be bothered looking and trying and they get sick of missing out, so they go ahead and just spend the 500,000 points.
Hey, Dom, does Qantas offer a service where they can find you seats themselves and you pay points for it?
No, but there are people out there that will.
Really?
Not me, so don't message me. It takes too long. But there actually are companies out there which will find you seats. I can't remember the names. If I can find them, I might post them somewhere. But there are people that will look for you.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, you can pay someone to do it.
Well, if it's going to cost me a lift in searching flights and not doing my work, mate, it's probably worth my while, isn't it?
But this is the thing. Once you know what to look for, it becomes really easy.
Yeah.
Especially when you're using this tool, which is the multi-city tool, it doesn't take me long. If I've got this window open in my office and I log in the morning to jump on my computer to check my emails, there's nothing stopping me from going Sydney, Singapore next month, search. Within 5 seconds, I'm going to get the screen pop up. Anything available? No, close it.
Yeah.
Or
Instead of scrolling, you just
there's no scroll. There's no constant looking. It'll tell you all for that month.
Scrolling on socials, you can go on to that once a night.
Once you know where to go, it takes you 2 minutes to do it, and you can just have a quick check every day if you want to go that often, and to do it and see if anything's up.
So when would you start searching for follow your dreams? What date should you? I mean, when
very soon. So
there's no return flights now. It's got to be within the year, your return flight. So there might be some available for going in May, but if you want to come back in July,
and that's where it gets,
you won't be able to.
No, and that's where it gets tricky, because by the time the return seats come out, the seats over are going to be booked by someone else. So you almost have to look at it as, okay, I just book myself one way and consider paying one way. Or do I book one way and then take my chances and find it later? By the way, you can once you book a Qantas award seat, you can cancel it and they'll take, I think, 5,000 points as as your penalty or your cost. But you can, if you find something, book it, because it's going to go. And then if it doesn't work for you later, you can deal with it later. As I said, earning 5,000 points, all you got to do is walk. All you got to do is buy some wine. You're going to earn it.
Yeah. So, and I think that's what Eski's question is. Do you know what happens if you miss your flight through a delay of your first flight that isn't booked via points? That's the specific question. Eski, it just depends on the circumstances. If you miss a connecting flight and stuff like that, being on part of, I don't think you lose it. You just get bumped to the next flight. So
if you book, it depends where it's booked. If it's on a separate booking, if it's separate booking, you're stuffed. If it's under the same booking, you're fine. So if it's a point seats where it's Singapore to Dubai, Dubai to Athens, something happens and you miss the Dubai to Athens, the final leg, they will sort it for you because under your booking. A point seat is treated like you've paid for it. They don't know when it comes to how they, whether you book points or cash and how they treat you, it's one for one. They won't, you're not treated any differently.
Yeah.
That's why it's always good if you're going to do a repositioning flight to get to, say, Jakarta or Singapore to fly to Europe from there. It's always good to not do it same day, because if anything happens to that flight over, you're going to miss your. And you're kicking yourself if you miss that business class flight you had booked for the. So it's always good to spend an extra day in that city that you're positioning to before your next flight, because then it gives you time.
Yeah. Guys, can we give it up for Dominic? That was invaluable. A big thumbs up. Show of hands as well. Who's going to come to the pre-conference? Thank you, buddy. Be good.
That is awesome. Thank you, Dominic, and thank you to Angelique for that amazing advice.
Yes,
that was huge.
Yeah. Very good.
She there? Hey, legend.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Love it.
And also, if you've got questions, reach out. I'm happy to give any tips.
Yeah, no, really good, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
We're
you.
looking forward to seeing lots of you guys here this time next year in Crete. Love to host you.
Thanks.
All right, be good, buddy.
Thank you again.
We should do an award of who's booked the most flights using points, something like that. I'll leave you to it.
And Dominic Tallon Award coming up.
Yeah. All right, guys. Be good.
Guys.
Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks again. Bye.
See you later. Thank you.
Bye.
The recording